Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wildcard podcast. It has been an adventurous 3-4 weeks, almost a month now since we had the last episode of me and G. We did have an episode with Sanford. He checked in a little bit, and then, of course, I had some issues with some speakers. G was going with finals. We apologize for the breaks. But we're back. We're going to have to recap the whole tournament, G, and what a tournament from the Sweet 16 onwards. A lot of dull moments, but then a really good, interesting Final Four finale combo that saved it, in my opinion. What do you got coming in here to this recap, re-show episode, and how does it feel to be back on the show? It's been a minute.
I think with how this turned out, obviously, bit of a gap to what we were hoping for, but I think this episode is going to serve as an overall general review of this past tournament. We're going back all the way to the Sandy 16, going all the way to the finals. So it's going to be a long one. We have some interesting results, some shocking results, some expected results, and some blowouts, which we will get to very soon. So I say let's just dive into it with probably our first big upset of this period here.
Yep, it was in the Shark region, and I'll take this one. Look, man, to many people, this is an upset. To me, it's not. This is not an upset, Cody beating me 5-2. I mean, we talked about this last year. If this was the same situation, if I ever played Fitzwater, right? We saw, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, when I played that guy. When I play people so many times, there's only so much I can do on Pandora's box, right? Like I'm not going to throw any looks. Cody did an incredible job. No card luck came into play whatsoever. I couldn't get a single power play on him. I couldn't get a single hand I liked. And not so much ammo. I had ammo. I just couldn't get a single hand I personally liked to where I can mix and match. Not in my favor right there in terms I couldn't get the hand I personally like, but also Cody knows my every backdoor move, right? He knows when I can make the move. He knows when I can make an ammo play. Did a great job hosing me out. I have nothing but respect to the guy. I showed him immense love after the performance he had. And to beat me 5-2, G, especially since I'm locked in, I know there's going to be the old, oh, okay, you're playing poker. That adage will not come in, G. I'll say this right on the record till T4-5. There's going to be a time where I might try some things, let's say like in a round 1, round 2. But one thing I've learned is you need rhythm, and that rhythm was thrown off when I had By Island and Zach. I need a rhythm. I learned that about myself during this run. Let's not take it bad myself. This was all Cody. He did a great job. And I got nothing but respect to the man. And we shook hands after, like gentlemen, and we called it a fair match. Is that what you saw? I'm not sure if you were here for a lot of it, but I think you were here for a little bit post-recap.
I definitely saw a big chunk of it, and I do specifically recall I did pick Lamas to win that matchup. I thought it was a great matchup for him to get, and it definitely showed when it came to the match at hand. I think Lamas was able to get through the table and counter your strategies really well. And he gets a huge win, which I think helps him a lot in the Super League standings. You definitely want those big ones early in the season, especially against the people who win those tournaments. Those are going to be huge for you down the line. So great stuff to Lamas there. He gets to the Echo 8 there, and KT, I mean, obviously not the back-to-back you were hoping for, of course, but I mean, you did win March, so I don't think it's the end of the world for you right now. You still got a long way to go to fight for that overall number 1 seed.
Yeah, at the end, well, gee, that doesn't even really matter this year. It doesn't even matter overall. Just get a buy, right? Double buy 1
Well,
through 4. Well,
yeah, but I like saying the overall number 1 seed because, you know.
of course. Yeah, and that's something that we got time, man. Look, and we're going into a tournament coming up for T3 where I felt like I didn't play last year. I never played. I wasn't here. I was stuck on old rules, right? We can't even do 13 card starts, so you can't just do every time. And so this next tournament I'm really excited for because I have historically said T2 is not my favorite, not just as a player, but it's hard. It's a very hard tournament. So I'm looking forward to the summer when we get kicking up, the weather gets warmer. Gee, I'm just going to skip this match a little bit. I'm not going to talk because I wasn't here. I was here. Something happened on Discord's end, and I'm going to be honest with you, G. I lost composure as a host. My speakers were gone. Drip lost composure. Cap wasn't even close to being composed. I felt like Cap just took advantage of the situation here, and it's no one's fault. This is just an unfortunate 5-0. I can't really analyze this game. It was kind of a blur, unfortunately. That's how you saw. I mean, you really can't analyze it. It's one of those asterisk 5-0s in mind. It's something we can't control from the league perspective, you know.
Yeah, this was a really strange one. I mean, they were supposed to be streamed, and then the VC stopped working, and then there was issues with Discord logs and everything like that. So, bit of a strange game. When it came to the bot, well, I mean, at least the bot functioned, so the game was able to go on off stream. But yeah, I mean, when it came to the game, I mean, Captain really did try to run it low as he usually did, and ended up working out. I mean, Drip really was not really able to get anything going. And I think overall, just a disappointing result there. But I think we've seen Drip who do good things. Got a win against Seth Cole in the first round, which in my opinion, is a pretty solid win. I don't know if everyone else would agree. But I think right now Drip needs a little more. I did predict Captain to win this one. I don't think I predicted 5-0 though. I don't think anyone did.
No.
So yeah, it's a tough circumstance, but I mean Captain continues the run, and it's just this tournament feels like it was made for him.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. I agree. I think Drip's doing some good things, G, but he needs a little extra to tank. He's had a couple weird laws. This one was weird, and the Sting one was berserk. I mean, that was, what do they have, 6 or 7 KT classics just in one game? And
And
yeah, I don't know.
that was a pretty good game too.
It was a good game, so it just shows he's a street fighter. I think he'll get back. He'll be street fighting in T3 for sure. But that will conclude that region. Let's move on to the Dolphin region, and well, you know, gee, this was a no-brainer. Unfortunately, I had Ard making a Final Four. I was an idiot, but
I told you.
I'm gonna say this much though. That was one of his most impressive. The way he handled that loss, G, that was impressive because
I 100% agree.
He could have easily thrown shade like he did with JT. He never complained. His quote was phenomenal. I'm impressed with him. He had some hard stuff going on. This seems like a different Art. You know, when he played Jeff and Peter, okay, maybe a chip, but he came into this match knowing I'm playing against the best player here. That's what from what I've seen so far, has been the best player here, excluding myself and Cap right now. I think Ashley winning 5-1 just part of the plan, G. That really what was her tournament was part of the plan. Got through, and all I could say, I streamed again. I think Ard I thought he tried some great things going 6 cards, but just too much Ashley here. I don't really got much to add. Just Ashley was too OP in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I predicted Ard to go out, unfortunately. I know you wanted him in the Final Four, but I just could not see a world where he could get past Ashley, and unfortunately that was the case. But you mentioned it at the top. Was impressed with the way Ard composed himself following the match. I am looking forward to seeing what he does in the upcoming season, because I think the way he took that loss in stride was a really good step, because we know historically sometimes Ard doesn't take losses too well. I mean, you see Turner last tournament, but I think I believe Ard has a good chance to do well this season. I just think I don't think he's ready yet to take down someone like Ashley, but he's still slowly building it back up to where he's getting to beat those huge contenders there. So we'll see how he does the rest of the season. Unfortunate, but also kind of an expected loss, but we'll see how he composes himself the rest of the season, and potentially could be in the talks for the Super League field.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I do like that new look Art everyone wanted to see composed Art. Let's see if he continues that. This next one, see, this might have been a warning sign that unfortunately was saw coming. DJ up 4. I didn't see this game. I was out. I did capture it a little bit. I mean, Ghost picked 5. I mean, congratulations to Ghost, by the way. He did, and DJ for that matter. We'll get to DJ a little bit later. But first, he won the sophomore class. And he was up 4-0, DJ, but then just fell off a cliff. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was, I don't know, man. Was it composure? It's hard to read. I watched a little bit of this stream. I don't think DJ ever gets down himself or not composed. I just think he got too complacent. But then usually, and he's been really good about it all year. 15 on a game, 8, 7, or 9. He's really good in the clutch, which is really impressive from DJ. But it seems like the mid-tier games where it's around game 3 through 6, he just falls off. Is that really what we saw here? And do you think the Ghost comeback was a sign of things to come for DJ despite the win?
I think you got to give more credit to Ghost there because I was the one who streamed this, I believe, or at least was on commentary. And I mean, down 4-0, I mean, Ghost never really gave up and he slowly fought back. Game 5 was a pretty long game, so he could have very easily given up then, but still slowly fought his way back into it, forced a game 9. DJ was able to come out on top in the end, but I think more credit needs to be given to Ghost here. I mean, a lot of people counted him out early, and he was able to prove a lot of people wrong. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Ghost does. I think this is the first time he's been truly back since Tournament 4 of last year. For DJ, I think it's just being able to close it out. I mean, he essentially had 5 shots to do it, and it took a lot of them. But on the 5th shot, he got it. So obviously it's a bit concerning to nearly get reverse sweep there, but he still got the win. So a little bit concerning, but he still got the W next to him. So not the end of the world.
All right, that's fair. I think it's more of a fair assessment there, G. And you never know. You never know with Ghost. He's a player that plays out of his skin sometimes. I'm happy that he made the run, right? I'm happy that he made the run that he did. He got that class champ, which is not the hardest one to win. I think it's the second easiest to win right now. I'll talk about that maybe down the road. But it's definitely becoming more of a momentum break because we remember he played Nick and I was on him. Like, what happened? So that's it for that region. Now this region, G, this was an unfortunate game in my opinion. Caesar Sting. Caesar had everything in control. I mean, 4-2. I mean, everything was in control, and then you just lost internet, and then it was never the same. I feel like this is the drip situation. This is something that you just can't foresee coming. And when you have those situations where you're playing catch up on internet of all things, do we really know what's going on? Right. So I think Caesar has some work to do with the internet side. I don't think his playing was bad. Stingray took advantage of the situation. He's still playing no composed doing it. It's playing Sting. Fair credit to Sting on that. But this one had more to be desired, I think. This should have been Caesar 5-2, in my opinion, if it wasn't for the internet. Is that how you saw it, Jay?
I kind of did also. I think this matchup just dwelled into chaos. So in the moment Caesar's internet started like completely phasing out on him, and I mean obviously you can't put all the blame there, but I mean it's just a whole disastrous situation there, and just Stingray just slowly just takes advantage of it, and it's a really disappointing result. Caesar was very very frustrated after the match, which I understand, but yeah, I mean, this has not been the best start for Caesar so far. I think people were hoping for a little more. Hasn't really got it. He's 3-2 right now, which is better than some people, myself. But it's just, I think it's just the bar is a bit higher for Caesar right now, and that's why I think some people are a little disappointed. But there's some circumstances in this one that kind of left it all over the place, but I know Caesar's gonna take the time in between this loss and the start of the next tournament to refocus, regroup, be motivated to get to that Final Four that a lot of people believe he can make, and I think he'll be more determined to get through it, and hopefully have less internet issues.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see. Caesar's always been a guy when it stings, and he'll come back with fire. Congrats to Stingray again the win there. And gee, this last one, I mean, I was there for this one. It was Tapir all over the place. He was up 4-0. Yeah, he gave 3 back to Tago, but I saw the same Christian Tago like I've seen from last year. Really, really good towards the middle packages on certain mid-tier packages when he won those 3 games. Really good at mixing up the style on Tapir. But the problem is you can't fall down 4-0 to Tapir, was electric. He's probably been the most electric player we've seen from D2 to D1. You have more to say about him than me because you've seen him in D2. But for Tago, I think this is a wake-up call to say, hey, you know what? He did work in game 3, 4, 5. It did start to work for him, believe it or not. Excuse me, okay, 5, 6, 7, where he started to do those crazy, crazy, crazy light switches and it threw Tapir off. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what Tago's evolution is. I think this is all Tapir, though, in this match. He just took over, G. 4-0, hard to come back from his out. You saw it. Really good from Tapir. Good stuff from him.
Yeah, I mean, Tapir has had a great run so far as our D2 showcase player. And I mean, Furtago kind of got thrown down early. I want to give him some credit for fighting back a bit, not really giving up after being down 4-0. Apologies for the ringer there. But I mean, I think it was a big hill to climb, and I think it's something similar to the Ghost situation, just kind of one game shorter. Tapir was kind of in the driver's seat there, so he wasn't really stressing out too much about it, and was able to get it finished. So. For Tago's outlook, I thought March was a terrible tournament, absolutely disastrous. He just wants to completely forget about March, but this is definitely a better start for him, 2-2. And generally speaking, I think he's in a better place than he would have been, I'd say, a few weeks ago. So possibly the outlook's better. I don't think he's within the conversation of the Super League bubble yet, but he's slowly inching towards there. Definitely needs to get a few better wins here as the season goes along, but I believe there's a lot of time for that to happen.
Well, I think for Tago, he has to look at this and say, you know what, is this going to be a stepping stone, or is this going to be a detriment? We all know March was his fault, and he even admitted, right? You practice with your opponent 24 hours, yeah, that's just not going to work. It's an improvement that he didn't do that, and I think he'll learn. It'll be a similar story, I would say, to more Drip. I think needs a little bit more time. He could potentially maybe get into his first E8 one day, but it needs to be small stepping stones for Tago for sure. And on the other side, Jay, this was a crack match. 5-4 Chomik over Dark. Dark is once again continuing. At this point, G, the true one-off style. We are not going to see a player like Dark. I mean, there's England, but even him starting to play low. Dark is truly best to the core, and he almost pulled it off. I think the game, I was asleep, and I had the internet, the speaker problems. But from what I understand, just reviewing that game because it was a non-stream, it just seemed like it was a battle of could Dark finally win a game under 10 minutes, and the answer was no. He can only win over 10, and that's a unique problem to have in this. There's just not many players we say that about. Do you think Chomik won this game more by speeding Dark up, or do you think this is a case of, you know what, Dark played perfectly, and it's just a game 9 type situation where it goes either way?
You know, it's like I'm gonna have to fact check you for check you for a second on the Dark can't win under 10 minutes.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but that's
I
what the whole.
I believe 3 of his wins in the prior round were under 10 minutes. So let me double check that.
No, I mean in this match alone.
Oh, in this match? Okay.
Yeah, we're not talking about this. I know he can win under 10, but in this match, I believe it was just 11, 14, 11, 11 or something, 12. It was just weird.
Let me take a look here.
I could be wrong.
12, 11, 14, 11. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, over 10, but in the last game, I mean, games 3 and 4 were both 10 minutes, and Chomik won both of those. The lowest game one was game 2 and 3 minutes, which has been an outlier. Then the next one's 8 minutes. So it was all around the same range. So I don't know if it's that 10-minute mark. And not to mention, also, the final game was 11 minutes, and Chomik was the one who came away with that. So I'm not necessarily sure if it's a time issue per se, but we know Dark likes to play this methodical chess style, which has kind of bit him sometimes, but ran into the Sandy 16 this time, but unfortunately fell down to Chomik here. So I don't really know what we're looking at here in terms of what Dark can do. This is a 2-2 start again, similar to Tago, but I think with Dark, it's kind of hard to read what he's doing right now because you see a lot of this similar style he had last season, which didn't end up really working out until like the last tournament. But you also kind of see some slight pace changes, but it's hard to read right now.
Dark is one of those hard to read players, and for Chomik, good win there. I think he needed that win, G, because there was a lot of questions about Chomik. Can he play a certain style? We see split ammo controls. It was basically his tournament, split ammo. He perfected that until he got to the end, which we'll get to that later. But it was a really good win for Chomik. I think Dark, I still think the chess style works. I think he's going to find ways to modify and tweak it just a little more, like he always does. He finds ways to fine tune things in his style, and he'll be all right. But 2-2, it's better than 0-2. It surely is better than 1-2, and it surely is better than having a DQ win on your resume. So for Dark, I think he's content. He'll go in a T3 with some momentum for sure. And this last one, G, this one was disappointing for you because you were high on, but you thought Brock would curb stock Monkey. I was hoping, even though I had to pick Monkey to win, I was hoping Brock would throw a little bit more of a fight. This was just Monkey all day. The man played 3 wilds in a row on blue and said after the game, I just wanted to mess around basically. I thought it would work, KT. I don't know how I don't even know, G. Just Monkey domination against Brock, which is shocking in my opinion. What do you say about this one?
I was just completely lost in how Brock played this the entire time. I think Monkey has a relatively easier style to read, and I don't think Brock tried to play into it at all, or counter it at all, really. Just kind of tried to be a little more goofy with it, and it really cost him. And Monkey just kind of played the way he usually does, and that was able to get him the win here. So this is Monkey's second Echo 8 in his career, so good stuff to him. He was probably hoping for maybe a March one, but didn't quite get it there. Kind of had to run through Ashley, which was a pretty much a no contest there. But I think for Brock, this is a lot of people are higher on him, including me. I think this was a performance that a lot of people were incredibly disappointed with, especially when we saw him take out number 2 seed of the region in Eli in a pretty convincing 4-1 fashion. So to see this happen, go down 5-1 to Monkey, I thought was a humongous missed opportunity, and I think it was really disappointing play on Brock's end. I think he needs to not bring whatever he brought to that game going forward because they clearly did not work.
Ammo control, G. No ammo control. The problem is with Brock, he's really good. When he gets the ammo he needs it on 6, 7, 8 cards, he's almost unstoppable. You give him the ammo on 12, 13, 14, 15, he's almost the exact opposite where he'll use it too early and just allows the opponent to get more cards and work with more numbers and figures. I think Brock has to work on ammo control. If he does that, he can be a top rookie one day. But gee, we're going to talk. It's kind of foreshadowing. This rookie class is ridiculous. It's almost unheard of what we're going to see. Well, congratulations. Let's give Monkey his credit, man. That was his first true Elite AG member because I gave him that rare second chance in March.
That is true. That's his first. Oh, even that he had a DQ win in this run also. So
yeah, Monkey. We'll talk about him in the last recap of the Echo 8. Let's get to that Echo 8 now. So we go with Cody Captain. All right, this one, G, was probably one of the best sweeps I've seen. I know Cody said he played perfect doing it. I was there. It was a 1 o'clock game, and man, it seemed like Cody was just getting beat to the punchline by 1 or 2 cards every time. And Captain just really good on this low stuff, man. It's been a theme with him. But in this case, he went high and he played into the ammo of going 9, 10, 11. It forced Cody in a compromised spot, and he can never recover. I'm going to say big win for Captain, but for Cody, you know what? Something to build on, right? You're 3-2 on the year. You got the big fish win you wanted with KT. Not bad. Not bad considering, unfortunately, he lost the class, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Wink, wink, the next pod. But what do you think about Cody and Captain continuing this seemed almost prophecy run to the Final Four here?
yeah, just generally domination there. We've seen it throughout most of this. Captain likes the low card starts for the most part, but this matchup he was able to kind of go all over the table here. So really, really great performance here. Because you would think that Captain would go 5 and 6 here, but that's not really the case. Lowest card start in this entire game was 10 cards, so that's not usually something you see out of Captain. He was able to run it very well on the mid-tier package, so great stuff there. And I think this was one of his best performances, along with obviously a very disappointing 5-0, but you did mention it before. Llamas got that big one. He's the only one who could say this season that they beat KT. So that's a very, very big win to have this early on in the season. And that's going to help him a lot going down the line, especially if he's in one of those close battles in the bubble. That's a huge win to have over the rest of the field. So I would say overall a good tournament for Llamas. Just a very unfortunate end. No one really likes to lose out on a sweep, but that's just what happens there. Captain moves on to the Final Four, which I think a lot of people predicted. And if we're going to talk about predictions, well, we'll get to it in a bit. But
Yeah, let's get to the next game here. This one, unfortunately, this is almost the same song, second verse. This is the same exact story, but a little bit different. This one was just DJ. He had a great number on Ashley, I thought, in the first 2-3 games, but then just lost control of it. Not so much ammo, lost number control, and that's really how Ashley plays this game, G. It's not, she didn't have the hands against DJ. Really didn't have the hands, but did a great job on number efficiency, really knowing, understanding how to play the game and adapt to the player's style, and just DJ got outclassed here. Now, DJ did win the Masters class. Congratulations to DJ. Ghost won the sophomores. I forgot I won the Legends class over Art. I forgot I mentioned that. So he got the job done and to get his first career class win. It was his first E8. I'm going to say for DJ, this was a positive tournament. I think the big win for him, even if it's not a big win resume-wise, G, the big win for him this run is to defeat Yoshi after getting creamed 4-0 last year and take a Game 7 on a guy that you know had your number. That's a big step for DJ in the right direction. Sure, he doesn't lead the series all time. That's still Yoshi, I believe, 7-4. But that was his biggest win. It built momentum. I think he just ran to the gauntlet that is Ashley at this point. Is that how you saw it? Just too much Ashley? DJ tries. Ashley makes her second back-to-back Final Four.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm not very surprised with this result. I've been high on Ashley since they made it out of the pod in the first tournament, and they have just continued to show that domination in a way. I think this is a successful tournament for DJ. I mean, I think there's a lot of good things to come out of it overall, but obviously the 5-1's not the desired result, and I think he just did get simply outclassed here. I think he needs to build a little more before he finds that first Final Four, which I think could happen in this season. But overall, I don't really got much to say besides Ashley has been really strong throughout the start of the season, so I'm not very surprised she made the Final Four again.
Not surprised at all. And like I said, this was something a lot of people have said, you know what, maybe we need to adapt to. It's a world champion player, G. Got to respect that. Speaking of, you don't have much to say. This next one, I'm gonna give it to you, G. Stingray to Fear. How about that one, G? Well, thoughts on that game? Oh man.
Okay, so I was not here for this game, right? I was out, but when I got back, I know there was a lot of people who were very upset about a specific part of this game, and that came in the first game where, for some unknown reason, they start on Wild, which in UUL, which Tapir's UUL. I don't think Stingray's UUL.
No.
Yeah, so in UUL, the tradition there is if you start on a Wild or a Wild +4, you draw once, then play. For some unbeknownst reason, Stingray decided to take it not one step further, like 1 mile further, and decided that it would be a good idea to draw the 42 cards. Which, if I was there, I would have told them stop it. But I was not, so it happened, and it was not good. It was not entertaining to watch. It was a drag. It really killed the vibe. This cannot ever happen again. This is not the way you do this. I understand the drawback is a strategy some people use, but we're not doing it the 42 cards. That is ridiculous. Because then at that point, you have someone who could have like 6 +2s, 4 +4s, 3 wild. That's not fun. No one likes that. Especially when that happens where you just play numbers and then you have like a 20 card run to the finish. That's not fun. No one wants to see that. So that's not happening again. There's going to be a new rule in place that prevents that, and I'm really annoyed. This gets my honorary worst game of the round, even though I didn't really do it for the Sandy 16. We'll get the soundboard wherever it is. I can't find it. Where in the world is it?
Maybe that soundboard. Yeah.
There it is. Okay, yeah. So for game one alone, this gets the worst game of the round. Um, yeah, I was genuinely appalled by this. I don't think this is Tapir's fault either. He just went along with it.
He doesn't know better.
He doesn't know any better, but this cannot happen again. This is, I don't want to say a disgrace, but it's not good. This can't be happening.
No, it can't be, and we're gonna make sure we get there. I'm not gonna say much. I mean, it's Tapir won on a. Gee, I know it's Stingray, but unfortunately, what was that? His 16th or something of his career self call out. You do that once in a while. The man's trying. I have full respect for him for doing it.
Oh yeah, that
But he
ending
got
was terrible too.
He kind of got burnt at the end because Tapir basically couldn't power play him because he was Uno, and then he did the self call out, and well, that gives you 3 extra cards, and. Well, we're moving on. Tapir, congratulate. I'm not gonna. That made me walk out of my chair.
I mean, that would have made it even more stupid if Tapir didn't even have the finish there.
It was a unfortunate night. Let's go with that. And gee, when you talk about worst game in a round, this one was just Monkey was outclassed. I mean, he lost to Chomik on a bus ride. I think Monkey's doing some great things this year, but there was a point where Monkey in Game 5 was like, I'm going to use the power play, man. You're lucky you won that game, man, because that wasn't even a finish. You were just, I don't even know what not the best performance for Monkey. We didn't make any prediction on this. I'm surprised the CPU went with Monkey. I think it had to be because of less data. This was absolutely outclassed. Chomik was just above. He didn't have to do much. I felt like Chomik was playing 10% at some points, and just walking away with this. That's just all day Chomik. He got the job done. It's Monkey, unfortunately. His luck ran out in terms of just his unusual DQ run. Thoughts on this one? I mean, he's got a good ceiling, Monkey, but we're going to know in the summer real quick if it's for real or not coming in, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with this one for me is that you saw it from the start essentially. I didn't see this live, but I watched the replay, and I mean, this was just a big old nothing burger from Monkey. This is the type of performance you usually expect from Monkey last season, not this season. So to see that he has not left this behind in 2023 is a bit concerning going forward. Chomik was just able to run away with it, and I mean, it was no contest from that point. But yeah, this is an incredibly disappointing result here for Monkey. It's a good tournament result. It's a good performance there, but I mean, this is a terrible way to go out. This was not the impression you want to leave with people in a loss. So there is some concerns going forward, but before we jump into the Final Four, because I don't really have much to say about this game beyond that, before we jump into the Final Four, I kind of want to give kudos to myself here for a second because remember me and KT, we made our predictions for the Final Four at the start of the tournament here before a single game even happened. I predicted 3 of the 4 Final Four here. So would you say this ended up being a predictable tournament, or would you say I just got an absurd read on the field?
Absurd read on the field. Because here's the problem with this, right? I think that the one, what was the one you missed? Was it Sanford?
I missed Tapir. No, I missed Tapir. Okay.
The reason why is, looking back, we all said Captain's Tournament, right? I had him win the whole thing. I was the only guy I had it with I got it right, but we all knew the prophecy. I thought Ashley would get tripped up, maybe because of maybe Art or someone didn't happen. Those 2 regions you could say, okay, Ashley Captain. You could have never guessed the Tapir region. I thought Caesar. I said the Caesar H would get it done in the Final Four. I think if Caesar doesn't have the internet, it would have been a more. There's no way Caesar's dropping back to 42 cards. G. I'm sorry. He
doesn't. No.
No shot. Caesar's an old school character. No way he would. You couldn't have predicted Tapir. I think it's a missed opportunity for Caesar. The Chomik one, it goes back to two things. What happened to not so much Charles Samper, right? Because that could have been upset. What happened to Brock? Then you almost look at if Brock was supposed to curve stop Monkey and he didn't get the read that he needed on Monkey of all people. Ironically, giving ammo to Chomik in certain situations because he plays split ammo would have been playing a similar fire on fire style. He could have had it, but the moment he lost and Chomik pulled the upset and he got by dark, it seemed like you got a good read on it. Remember, these guys coming in are all rookies, right? And we said in the beginning, what do we think was the most important class, G, in terms of that's going to hold the keys to not just Super League, but the class championship that's coming? The rookie class. None of these people are rookies. In my heart, I cannot visibly say Ashley's a rookie. By label, sure. In my heart, no. Is Cap? No. He doesn't play like one. The only one out of these four that truly plays like one is Tapir because he's learned the system. You give him one or two more tournaments, none of these guys are rookies. They're all going to be sophomores minimum, if not veterans and masters coming after we reclassify in 25. I was impressed. This is the hardest class to win now, G. 100%. I'm convinced it's the hardest. Unfortunately, G, our class is the easiest. As crazy
Yeah,
as it
that's
sounds,
the legends are starting to head into the retirement home, unfortunately. So,
I'm still here. Art is look. Dude, give credit to Art. Art's got what? He's got 2, 3, I think. He's cooking a little bit, but yeah, no. The rookies class is just unbelievable. Let's get into this final four. You smoked this, G. Congratulations on the read. I'm not sure if you had Cap to win the whole. I think did you have Cap? Or no?
I think I definitely picked Captain to beat Chomik, but I'm not sure. I'd have to think. I feel like I did, but I don't remember. I don't remember who I picked, to be honest. But the only thing I remember is I definitely got 3 of the 4 final 4. But let's just jump into it.
All right. Let's see here. This one. Let's start with the. Oh no, this was the Cap one. Cap. This was the 7:30 and okay. I want to preface this real quick. We do not in the league like to play games at this early, right? This was The problem was Chomik has a unfortunate time zone difference with Cap where it's 12 8 hours, right? And the only thing I can legit say is the first 3 games did feel like we were waking up, G. It really did. We had Caesar ref this game. I was there a lot. It short came in mid-game, but it felt like they were just waking up. And then once we got to game 4, 5, 6, things started to get electric. You look at what Cap did. Down 2-4 and then plays the 5-6 and just starts running with it. Incredible use of algorithm efficiency that I can't even believe I'm saying this, G, but he played the system to almost perfection because at one point he could have easily blown it. Goes 5 cards on a game 11 situation and wins the game. Absolute confidence, massive cojones from him to do that. I had nothing but respect for that. And most of those games, G, were not 0-minute wins. They were a couple minutes. Chomik did a great job of using split ammo. I think it was the perfect match to open the round. Congrats to Cap. Chomik, I think you can't even say anything bad about me. Yeah, he was on the bus again. Okay. But other than that, he did a great job, and he did an incredible way of just finding the rhythm and going from there towards the later part of the series for Cap and used the endurance battle that Chomik has lacked a little bit, excluding the dark match. I know he had the England match, but he has lacked the endurance battle on 5 and 6. We know that Chomik likes doing 14, 15 senders. I think Cap took advantage of the situation. Thoughts on Cap to moving on to the 7 series finale where it was almost destiny at that point?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this match. Pretty big back and forth here. I think both delivered. This went full distance here, so I think both put up a great performance. But Captain's the one who ends up coming out on top here. Really early game for us, not for them. Uh, but I gotta notice also that a lot of these games went very, very quickly. Not a single game above 4 minutes in a best of 11 series. That is crazy. This only lasted 28 minutes. There are best of fives you could look at in D2 that lasted longer than this. So really, really quick pace here. Really, really fast game overall. games 10 and 11, we jumped to 15, and then we went to 5. Captain was able to win both those to close the series out, but I think when you look back at it, there was definitely some lopsided hands on both sides for the most part, but kind of in a fun back and forth way. But in the end, I think Captain's just the one who's able to come out on top, and we're gonna see this in the finale also when we get to it in a little bit. But I think for Captain, I think he's both one of the most skillful and one of the most lucky players in the league when it comes to on the table, and I think that's a really scary thing to go up against. So I see Captain being a huge threat down the line.
He will be a huge threat. And we go to Ashley Tapir. I mean, this one was just Tapir was up 4-2, but gee, I think he just didn't understand. And Tapir even admitted after the game, I just didn't understand the platform, KT. When we got to the end of the game, it's just it's once again a similar story to how Ashley was down 4-0 to JT, ironically, in the first one in March. Just Ashley understands these clutch situations more in a Final Four. It seems like that's not been her problem. And it just seemed like experience took over. As much as Tapir has been to those finale and Final Four situations in D2, it was his first time here. Got to give the guy credit, man. He fought like it. No, the fact that nobody even had him close, right? In my opinion, no one even had him close to even getting in D1 at the start of the year. The fact that he was playing on house money and really took it to the field and given the path he was given, he did a great job to lose 6-4. But once again, Ashley just too much, G. And at that point, what is there to say? It's a world champion player, knows what to do in these situations. It just seemed like it was destined to be Captain Ashley, a rematch from T1, that group of death pod. But congrats to Tapir, man. Your thoughts on Tapir on this match? Obviously, he will actually play one more match, and a third place match will be coming up. But I guess tomorrow. We are recording this on a Thursday. So I guess he'll play one more third place match on a Friday morning. But your thoughts on Tapir, where he will go from here, and just once again, Ashley's back-to-back finales dominance to start the year continues.
I mean, I say this as the D2 commissioner, but I don't actually know where he'll go, like in terms of where he's going to play, because at this point now, that's not entirely my decision. So we'll have to see what happens here. We're gonna hopefully see maybe. I would prefer if he stayed within D2, potentially get into D2 championship, but that's unfortunately not my decision at this point. So we'll see what happens with that. But in terms of his gameplay, I think this is definitely a great learning experience for Tapir overall. A phenomenal run here as a D2 showcase player. I couldn't be more proud of someone to represent the new D2 than Tapir, and he really showed out. I think D2 has a lot of great players who could definitely rise up the ranks. And are better than some people might think, because even though it's technically the second tier division, I think there's a lot of great players who kind of just got caught up into it by joining a bit late, and were not really able to get that chance to potentially start out in D1. So I think there's a lot of players here that come next year who are going to get promoted, could really make an impact on this league in the first division. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I definitely think Tapir is going to be one of those players. So I'm overall looking forward to it. I think this is, again, great learning experience for Tapir. Makes it to the Final Four. Unfortunately, loses out to Ashley, and that also ended his undefeated streak in this league. I think he ended 11-0 before he took that first loss. So really impressive stuff. That's not something that we've seen ever. So overall, a really great run there. But now he's got to learn how to rebound from that first loss, and we'll see how he takes it through that.
Yeah, Tapir, he's got a high ceiling, G. He's got a high ceiling. We're gonna see. We're not got too much to speculate about him, but he's got a high ceiling. I like where he's headed. I think he's going to be a player. No matter where he ends up, he's going to be one to watch. And let's face it, G. The fact of the matter is, we've seen this guy grow from when we first met him in February, to basically turn into that monarch butterfly, which is great to see. And then for Ashley, like I said, made the finale, and here we go. And to the finale we go with the 7 Cs. It was Cap Ashley, and Ashley was running, man. 3-0, 13, 12, 14, high card starts. Everything was just going in her favor. Everything looked good. And then all of a sudden, G, like a lightning struck.
0 minutes.
Yeah, then Ashley turned it back up with her usual high stuff. Full sender, OG full. And then all of a sudden, once again, but that was her 3 6-minute games. In the last game, 15,
18.
I think Cap Cap 18 minute. Cap took advantage of the situation at hand, and he played this one perfect. I know after the game there was some people saying, is 0 minutes the best thing? Is this the best finale? No, this is. I want to be clear. This is not the best finale. No, there's two better ones I can think off the top. Was this better than last April? Yeah, well, anything beats that. But in terms of, I think what we're seeing here is, you said it right. He's got really good card luck on those 5-6-5. He's a very strategical player too. I think Captain. I think he honestly, G. I think I could see him making a Final Four in Super League. I could see it because the way he plays this game, assuming he doesn't play ridiculous poker at the end of the next two tournaments and keeps a bye, he's a dangerous player. I wouldn't want to play him right now. However, there is one weakness in Cap's game that I personally see. I'm not going to say it publicly. There is one thing I do see you can take advantage, and Ashley did a great job. Ironically, Jay Ashley was almost playing Sean Arch strats, which was weird to see. But I mentioned, I don't know if you've caught on this, but she was finishing with reverses and skips. That's something Art does a lot. And I kept saying to him, is this Art playing? And it just shows you maybe she's one of those players that says, you know what? I can start to adapt to anybody, and I'm building my notebook. Congratulations to Cap, though. He truly sailed the 7 seas. He punches his ticket with myself. And how fitting is it, G? It's April Aquatic, right? The guy lives about 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from the shore. I live 5-10 minutes away from the shore. It seems like the shore boys are taking over for right now. Thoughts on Captain of the 7 Seas, though? He's out in Latvia. I'm down this Jersey shore. Thoughts on Captain taking the win here against Ashley? And it was a good finale. It wasn't the best everything I see, but it was definitely a good one compared to what we had in the past for sure.
Listen, I mean, if we're talking about the shore players being dominant, I might just take myself and move closer to the Miami Beach because that might do me better for this league. But on a more serious note, I mentioned it during the Final Four game. I think Captain Kid is one of the more skillful players in the league, one of the most skillful. But he's also one of the luckiest, and I think that's a really scary duo to have in a game like Uno. And I think we definitely showed that we saw that here because I don't really care what way you look at it. 0 minute games are unfortunately just you got a really good hand or your hand just played into the opponent's hands so absurdly well. So it's hard to take a read off that. That's obviously not something you want to see, but he didn't just have all 0 minute wins. He had some longer wins, 3-6 minutes, and then he had that last 18-minute fight there, which really was a fight battle to the end. Was able to win that, so an absolutely deserved victory here. Took advantage of some circumstance with the 0 minute games and was able to come out on top here. For Ashley, makes it back to the mountaintop and unfortunately falls just short once again. Really unfortunate, becomes the second player to make back-to-back finales and becomes the second player to also lose back-to-back finales. So being in back-to-back finales could potentially be a curse. But it's a good curse to have if you have to have one. So,
She did learn the 5-3. Remember, I think you mentioned it. The power play didn't take it with her this time. There was some improvement there.
that is true. She remembered from the March finale. Tried that. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off here. So might be just something beyond the power play here. Again, I don't think she played bad. Just kind of unfortunately not able to close it out. But again, a great performance put up by Ashley. Unfortunately, comes up just short again. Congratulations to Captain, who wins the 7 Seas finale, and the Aquatic April. So he has locked his spot up into Super League later in the year. But overall, that does it for the Aquatic April. The third place game has not happened yet, which is a little bit weird. That usually doesn't happen, but I don't think there really would be much to talk about anyways because it's the third place game. But yeah, I mean, we could just jump into our thoughts overall on the tournament before we jump into some D2 news.
Well, actually, it's going to be initial thoughts through two tournaments. And we'll start with the first. It's basically a Q1 recap. The first quarter of the season. We started in February, March, April, and let's face it, the first couple weeks of first week of May here. Well, my initial thoughts is, I have 5. I wrote 5 of these down. Number 1. God bless your soul if you're in the rookie class, because the fact of the matter is, fifth place was the 5th best rookie in the league. That's unheard of, right? That there's not many sports where you're saying, all right, 5 rookies. Think about this, G. 7 people have made a Final Four. Ashley's made it twice, right? There's only 2 players that are not rookies that have made a Final Four, and it's myself in a legend class, which everyone knows KT in March is lethal, and Jesse Turner. I mean, KT, JT, that's it. And then 5 rookies. You got Nam, remember in March, Ashley twice, Chomik, Sapir, and now the captain. I mean, it's a lethal class. I don't know who's going to win. Right now, it's Ashley's to lose still because if we go off of average, that's a 1 and 2 in her class. That's basically the second best. It's basically, you maximize as much as you can, but that rookie class is lethal. Second thing, I have to look this is parity from 5th on back is ridiculous. I think actually 4th on back. It's kind of foreshadowing, but 4th on back, the parity is ridiculous. There's no continuity other than the tournament winners in Ashley, right? There's some continuity there. After that, there's absolutely no idea what's going to happen. Right now, it's feasible. We could have 55 next tournament. We have 55 winners, right? Just one winners means one person has one win at least minimum 1. We could have 55. That's unheard of. We already have 48. Absolute craziness. This whole league has been turned on its head, in my opinion, in terms of what's happening with parity. And then the next one, G, is it's really what happened to the sophomores and the legends. That's my 3rd out of 5 talk. But the sophomore class. Now let's look. Now I want to be clear about this, G. I still think H is a great player. I still think Bowtie is a great player. I mean, there's still Ghost 1-1, great players. But if you look at those people compared to where we at, I mean, the sophomores haven't even made an E8, G. I don't know where's going on with that. And then the Legends class, I know thankfully we are getting Fitzwater back, hooray.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, you look at Gold, no wins. Yourself, no wins. Peter, he hasn't looked the same since Super League, right? We look at Yepez, he's been kind of off and on. Varigold, Sean Ard. I mean, is it really Sean Ard and KT? That's if you would have said Sean Ard is potentially the second best Legend G, would you have even bought that entering the year? No. No one would. I wouldn't even have bought that. And I'm a big Ard fan, but I wouldn't have bought that. I thought maybe 3rd or 4th at minimum. Right? So the sophomore and Legends class are very confusing in my opinion. I don't know where they are. Veterans there's a couple people. Masters is really competitive. Look at DJ. You look at Code. You look at Sanford. You look at Caesar. Dark isn't. That's a really competitive class. That might be the next rookie. That might be the second best class. The veterans, you got Monkey Boy out there, G, tearing it up. I mean, who would have saw that coming, right? And then the last point to kind of speed up my initial thought, I think we've done a great job, G, on the stream packages this year. I think it's been great. The hosting's been great. The media stuff, I have to work on a package. Next year, we will have a package. Cody is working on the graphics for we will have a true package next year, and everything will be good. This year, we ran out of time due to the whatever the hell the off season was. But the next year, true package, we're testing it out a little bit in T3. We're going to start to get a little more graphics heavy, and then we're going to work on some pressers. But overall, I have to give it, it's been a solid A. I mean, compared to where we were last year, where it was a solid F, because the first 2 tournaments last year were a disaster. I didn't have no commission team. I didn't have. You were my first commission member other than Ard, right? And let's face it, man. No offense to Ard, no offense to you, but we're not short, right? We're not short. We're not Cody. We're not Zach on logo. You're good at grep is Ard. I mean, Ard's a ref, right? The fact that we've built the team and Sanford does a great job on brackets, Yoshi's a great job on just being a good counterback guy. You know, if he don't miss, we make a mistake, he's on it. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do, G. Kind of a little bit of a teaser with Caesar. As a ref, he could be someone to watch. But realistically, overall, I'm happy where we're at. Initial thoughts, 2 tour from hosting, and of course, just overall general in the league. Player-wise, I don't need to talk about it. I won March. I'm happy. Right, I'm locked in. I'm going to Athens. I just booked my ticket, so we're good. But no, I'm not going to talk about the player much. Overall, as a league commissioner, I think we're doing good. And then for detail, a little bit about that, I think we're starting to improve on scheduling. But that's a work in progress, right? I've given myself 6 months for that league to kind of flourish. So that's my initial thoughts, G. Let's go to you. Your thoughts on the 2 tournaments and about parity or whatever you want to talk about here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's relatively good parity throughout the start of this season. I mean, again, you mentioned it, 48 players with at least 1 win so far. and you still got some good players in the 0-1 category right now. Which is about 16 players, although some of those players are not playing for the rest of the season. But when it comes down to it, I think overall with the more standardized and more enforced rule packages that we have, I think it's
Right.
providing for a smoother experience because March and April were changing all over the place. Because I remember in March, play-ins were, or even just essentially the round of 32, if you want to call it that. That was a best of three in March. Round of 32, round of 64, not in March for this season, best of seven. So we've come a long way on that. And I think we've struck that good balance to be a relatively great series, but not like overly abundantly long. But as we go along, and then April, I believe, also was like best of 13.
Ah,
Also, which
gosh.
like we did it for March because it's March, but like I don't know, best of 13 is a bit long, but and then we also never really had power plays, which was a bit of a different flavor to the mix for Uno. Obviously, not really something you see everything else, but I think a lot of people who have come in have actually enjoyed the power play, enjoy the different strategies you can do with it. I know a lot of people just go for the simple route where it's just to end the game, but there's definitely a lot of great plays you can make with power play to shift the momentum, and those are usually my favorite uses of it. But sometimes those are hard to come by, and sometimes just the simple thing is the smart thing. Um, but overall, I've liked a lot of the new people who have come in. I think we've built a pretty great league overall so far. Still only in its second year, which is kind of crazy for some people, but I think as the time goes along, it just builds up more. Hopefully, it runs for a few years, potentially becomes something bigger. And I've enjoyed these first two tournaments so far. Unfortunately, for the most part, as a spectator, um, competitor wise, this has not been a very good start, but
No.
it is what it is. But I think in general, there's a lot to look forward to, and especially we got out of the bit of the murky tournament too, which I thought was a relatively good
Yeah.
tournament. I think from here, there's a lot more um, interesting stuff going on as we go later and deep into the season.
No, I couldn't agree more. The tournament too was the one I just dread to host. And there's a lot of things, like you said. G, remember last year in March we only had 7 cards. It was only 7 cards, right? That was it. There was no card start regulation. Remember, I know this is going to sound really bad, but this is almost the 1 year anniversary of Clint Green. Say, hey KT, let's raise it up to 14 and 15. That's a great idea, Clint. And without Clint, I mean, think about it. Well, I'll give a shout out to Clint. I mean, without him, we don't even have the full send, right? And it's changed the game completely, just like it has with 5 and 6. I instituted 5 and 6 to try to get a little bit more of a flavor. But when Clint did the 14-15, it's changed the whole complexion of the game because you're adding 2 new layers of starting card packages you never have seen. Overall, great stuff. But I'm looking forward to the summer, man. That's when things start to turn in. I think this year, June 1 is going to be the date to look at. Once June 1 hits, Super League's on your mind. Remember last year? Remember, Super League wasn't even a thing last year. It didn't get announced till what, late May?
Yeah.
We're still we're in infancy stages here. The fact that we've grown this thing in a year and a quarter, not even, in my opinion, it's amazing. It's a testament to the team. But let's move over to D2 with G, and just your thoughts, G, on what's going on with D2 as we continue to take flight on the April Airways.
Yes, I mean, at this point, we're in the regional finals here. None of the games have happened yet. We are recording this on Thursday. I believe the first game is happening tonight with Tapir and Sam, so that'll be good. But let's jump back in to the prior rounds here. We had our play-ins, which I don't think was that eventful for the most part. Did see a 3-0 and then two 3-2s. There is one player. There's one 10 seed in Taslim, who is our sole India player. She came in from U, although she's not really a UL player. She's kind of like a traveler in a way. Just kind of just goes all over the place. But you're gonna hear them a lot. They've had a phenomenal run, about this tournament so far. They're in the regional finals. They were able to reverse sweep Retta, who made the regional finals last tournament in a 3-2, and then was able to sweep one of our other Tournament 2 debutants in Chloro, who is from Thailand, which another thing you have to notice also with D2, there's a lot of international diversity there, which I think is awesome. But it does make some scheduling a little difficult. Yeah, but overall 4-0 there. And then we also can jump into another story here. Every single player who made the Final Four last tournament is still in, and they're all 1 seed. So every single 1 seed is in the regional finals. So that, for a refresher for anyone who may not remember, that is Tapir, background character, Hockey, and Stefan. All 4 of them made the Final Four last tournament, and all 4 of them are in their respective regional finals this tournament, in the Elite 8, if you want to call it that also. This is an absolutely unprecedented. I don't think we've ever seen something like this in MRE Uno. We might have to, if all 4 of them make it again to the Final Four, that would be a first. We might have to start considering a Big Four in D2, which would be pretty wild. And I mean, at that point, you might be able to only say that only 4 people could win the whole thing, which would be a crazy thing to say jumping into Tournament 3. Just barely got past the halfway point in the regular season at that point. But on the opposite end of all those 1 seeds are all people who have debuted in the second tournament. So we're going to run them down for you. Sam, who you saw on the MRE Uno channel in a very good 3-1 victory over Alex in that first stream game of the April Airwave. And then Sam was able to 4-0 Ryan Reed, who Ryan Reed won the Battle of the Ryans in a very awkward DQ game. But I think Sam is going to be Tapir's biggest challenge yet so far in this tournament. Tapir was able to survive in the first round in a 3-2, but then was able to take business in a 4-1, where he also got 8 wild +4s, which is absolutely unheard of. So it appears another one of those players who has some good luck and some good skills. So not really scary player to play against, but Sam's going to be up for the challenge. For the Breezy Byways region, we have Gone, who is from Ireland. So we have a bit of a I wouldn't say a British battle, but definitely European battle in the close sense between Background and Gone. That one will be good. That one will be happening soon. And then you also have Hockey and Mile, but let me jump through Background and Gone's runs first before we move on to that. Gone started with a 3-0 sweep on Pox, which was really well, and then survived a very close 4-3 game against Sky. Was able to hang on there, and then Background has kind of just run the table for the most part. Survived a very scary 3-2 where I think he was really not favored on the cards there, but was able to hang on. Had a 34 card comeback in that game, which is a league record. So Background making history this tournament, and then had a rematch against Nathan, which wasn't intended, but it happened the way it was, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it was a repeat from February. It was a 4-1 result there. So now we have that as the final with Background character and Gone. That'll be another good one to watch out for. Gone, a lot of people are high on. A lot of people think could make a deep run, could be a contender for the D2 championship. We'll see how that goes. He'll have to get through Background first if he wants to do that, and Background's going to have to get through Gone if he wants to make it back to the finals. Then we jump into the Cloudy Currents, which is Hockey and Myhill. So Myhill had another 3-0 on the 2 seed, and this time being Luke, and was able to win 4-2 against Omni, went up 3-0, and was able to close it out in the last 3 games, the win 4-2 there. Really solid showing overall. Has to take on Hockey, who has kind of steamrolled through most of his competition so far. 3-1 against Swipe Spider and a 4-0 against Mark. Hockey's been on a roll so far. It's going to be a very tough challenge for both players here, as they're going to go head-to-head in that regional final. And then finally, jumping back to the bottom, we have Stefan and then Tislim. So this is a 1 vs 10, which I don't think anyone was expecting going into this. Stefan has survived very close games in the first 2 rounds, was able to survive against Taco 3-2 in a reverse sweep, and then was able to come back from after being down 3-1 in the round of 16 to beat Geo 4-3. So Stefan has kept these games very close, but he's also been the comeback master. And then Taslim, as I mentioned before, 3-2 in the play-in, was able to survive that, reverse swept Retta in the first round, 3-2 there, and was able to 4-0 Chloro in the round of 16. So this is looking to be a very big battle between two competitors who know how to come back, but also competitors who have shown dominance in winning multiple games straight. So I think we have 4 great matchups set up for this regional finals here. Most of these games will be streamed. Some of them won't due to circumstance. We do have busy schedules, so we can't stream everything, unfortunately. But we'll have the final 4 all stream for you once we get to that. We'll probably have that within the next 2 episodes, since we're having 2 episodes getting recorded back to back here. But overall, I think this tournament has been great so far, and I'm looking forward to it. We're going to see who's going to end up winning the April Airwave. Tapir, our February Flurry champion, is still in it. Did take that loss against Ashley in the Final Four for D1, so we'll see how that affects him as he goes up against Sam. But we'll have another update for you soon once we get more information as the tournament progresses.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it in just terms of. Someone said this, G. My memory is usually good, but did someone say that this is turning into more like the women's basketball, where all the 1 seeds made it, or something?
Yes,
Someone
someone did say that. I don't fully agree with that. But because we've definitely seen some upsets on the lower side of things. But yeah, the 1 seeds have been absolutely dominating so far, which is again unheard of in MRE. So. Potentially looking at a big 4 there going down the line if all 4 can manage to make it back to the Final Four for a second time. Shut out everyone else.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be an interesting finish. We'll see if those big 4 remain. We saw the big 3 and big 4 in racing. We saw that in 2018.
The quad squad.
Yeah, the quad squad. Yeah, it was funny. Was it Harvick, Logano?
It was
and Truex and Busch. Yeah.
It was Harvick. It was Harvick, Truex, Busch as the big 3. Then they tried to squeak Brad Keselowski in as the quad squad, but that did not stick out for long. I only remember that because I thought that name was so stupid. But
yeah, that was funny. That was funny back then. Good time. Hard to believe it's been 6 years ago. But let's go to the last topic. Super League preview. What to watch to come T3. Let's start with what to watch to come T3. I got to look at a couple things, right? I'm looking at three big storylines. Number 1, the defending winner of this tournament, Gold. Where's his head at? There's a lot of swirling rumors around him that he's waiting for certain things to come up. There's a lot of rumors, that he may not be the T3 merchant and actually has to wait to T4 because remember T3 started in mid-June technically due to some vacation issues I had. There's a lot to think about. That's what. And number 2, in my opinion, is this finally the time where the parity starts to streak out a little bit and we actually start getting 4 or 5, 6 names to join our 2 winners and Ashley? We'll find out. And then lastly, who's the guy that's going to make the big run that's unexpected? And I'm looking at 2 people. Right? I'm looking at yourself, G, right? Because you have 0 wins.
Yep.
And this next one might shock you, but I'm actually looking at Drip. I think he's the guy.
I'm not shocked.
Yeah, because he's breaking through, right? He's starting to break through, starting to understand the platform and adapt to the league's rules. I think you 2 are someone's to watch. That's all I got for T3. Super League? Oh, man. We're going to talk about that next episode. You're in for some stunners right here, G. There's a lot of things to look at that. A lot of new criteria we got to talk about on that show. All I'm going to say is wait for the next episode coming up shortly, recording-wise, in a couple days, because, man, that's going to be a killer episode, G. I'm going to save the goodies for that when we get to the actual recording. So what do you got before we wrap up your T3 and preview?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to make a list of people to watch out for coming this upcoming tournament. I mean, there's definitely some people who are not in not a great place right now to start the season out. I mean, there's definitely a lot of O2 people you have to look at in terms of people who could be potential winners here. I'm just going to read off every single person who's currently doesn't have a win right now that's going to be playing in this upcoming tournament, and that's in this sheet. In order is Varigold, Gman, Zachary Fitzwater, Aiden Smith, Mac Johnson, Clint B, Payne Foss, Jeff Bolton, Brando, Leah, Edward Ziemba, Toaster Guy, Eric Monaco, Radin, and Andreas Allen. So all those players unfortunately do not have a win right now. Fortunately, Arya not able to play still, and Steven Cologne decided to bail out. We wish him the best, but I think when you look at this list, I have to think of a few names that could get off the list here. I'm going to ignore myself for now because, I don't know. Rather would not try to talk about that, 'cause I would feel like I should be able to get a win, but I would rather focus on other players here that might not get as much recognition. It depends on what bracket he gets, but I could maybe see Aiden Smith finally breaking through that first win. We have seen him be able to get those wins in the mid-season, and it's been a rough start for him so far, but I think when it comes to someone who's a veteran like him, I believe he is able to pull out a win at some point in the middle of the season here, and we are around that range right now, so I could see Aiden Smith pulling off a win here. Mac Johnson, I mean, he's come so close and close and close and still has not gotten that first win. Um, he had a rematch against Peter, could not do it there. I really don't know where we're looking at for Mac here. I unfortunately think he's going to have to wait another tournament here. But I would like to look at someone else who could potentially make it. And I would like to give some recognition to Leah here. I don't think they've played bad in their two losses here. Unfortunately, they were the overall last seed in the March Madness tournament, and unfortunately, that meant they had to go up against Yepes, who was it was the defending Super League champion there. So it was an unfortunate role there. Played relatively well to a 2-4 loss in April, and I think they have the pieces to get a win here. I don't know if it's for a run, but I could definitely see them getting a win here. I think they're just slowly building to it. And their seats probably going to slowly go up here, probably in the mid range. So definitely gives a better opportunity to get that first win overall, and not have to make a big upset to get it. So I would keep an eye out for Leah to get her first career win and also the first win of the season. And then I'm going to throw in one more name here to potentially look for a win. I would honestly not count out Clint, and that might sound crazy,
Oh man.
but Clint has that weird style to him where he's kind of just all over the place, and that catches some people off guard. And some people are not ready for that. And if he gets goes up against someone who's kind of just tries to be way more serious, that's the only method they can play. They can't understand the goofiness of Clint. That could be played to Clint's advantage. He could take advantage of that, possibly get the win there. So I wouldn't count out Clint getting his first win. Again, we don't really know the brackets yet. We don't know the brackets yet. Of course, the brackets have not been released, so we don't exactly know what these matchups are. And some players might get absolutely atrocious matchups, and we'll have to wait another tournament to get the win. But those are a few players who I think could get out of the 0-2 range. But and you also have to look at the people who could win this upcoming tournament or have deep runs to the Final Four. And I'm not gonna mention the people on the top here. Like I'm not gonna mention Ashley or Chomik or anything like that. Already people who you already throw as potential contenders to make it into the Final Four early on. But if we're looking through the mid pack here, I would give a mention to William Brock. I think after those first two tournaments, really disappointing for the most part with how many expectations have been thrown onto him. I think most people are expecting a big run here, and I think he's more motivated than ever to try to get that run going. So I would keep an eye out for him. I would also keep an eye out on Julio Caesar, who, again, a lot of people think he could do well. Hasn't really been able to get up to it yet, but I know he's going to be absolutely motivated to get to the Final Four here in this upcoming tournament after the circumstances that happened in the last tournament after just barely losing out in a 4-3 in March. And then last person here who is currently 2-2. I think you kind of have to look at Carson here. Kind of got hosed in a very unfortunate way in April, and I think after that they are fired up to bring this back for themselves, and would help the sophomore class as well, because that class has not been very strong so far. I think Carson can make that run to potentially help the sophomore class get a better rep, and I could see Carson making this run here after getting host in April and being more motivated to make a deeper run here. But those are a few of the players I'm watching out for in this upcoming tournament. Let me know what you think about that, KT. And we
No,
could
all
just keep
solid,
moving on.
all solid, man. You look at Carson; he's a sophomore class champion, right, from March. Look at Brock; he needs a storyline. I guess maybe a master we could throw in. I guess Caesar, right? Everyone kind of knows can he get the internet fixed, and then veteran, Clay. We mentioned Clay.
I could
Clay had that.
I could see Clay. Yeah, I think Clay's April was relatively disappointing. I don't think that Lane Sanders loss is going to do him well down the line, but I think he's got to be able to rebound from that and see what he does. I don't see that rebound being a Final Four or anything like that, but I could see a round of 16 appearance possibly, but we'll have to see.
We'll see. I think it's going to be a good tournament. And gee, what do we always say? When the weather gets warmer, tensions start to build, right? And it's got to start thinking, because once we get to the Sweet 16 of Tournament 3, that's technically the halfway point, right? Because in the league this year, right, there's 6 rounds, and there's 6 times 5 is 30. We've went through 12, and once we get past that Sweet 16, that's the last round of the first half of the year. We're on to the second half, and it goes quick, and especially T4, where it gets kind of dire, especially if you're at 0 wins or 1 win. You got to start building that resume. So we'll talk about that coming up in the next episode. I want to thank everybody. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course our home base on YouTube. Subscribe, comment below. Appreciate you guys always listening. We're going to get some more media content going. But for G and myself, we're going to see you pretty shortly as we'll talk about everyone's favorite episode, right? Super League Reveal 1. It's here. Athens Road starts now. It's going to be a good one. For G and KT, we're signing off. We'll see you shortly.